Hey there, Saints fans. Welcome back to Talking Saints, where today we're talking Saints. Today we got a discussion episode for you. Me and Alex are going to go through our list of our top 10 players of the 2024 season and our comeback player of the year. So I know we got together separately and got our list together. I have mine in this beautiful interior decoration book. I know Alex has his
on my phone.
On his phone. I'm recording on the phone, so I figured we'd go a little
that's
fancy.
That's why you wrote it down. I was like,
Yeah,
use your phone.
No, I wanted to be a little fancy with it.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Without further ado, we'll go ahead and start. Alex, would you like to go over your honorable mentions first?
Oh, yeah. So the honorable mentions, first of all, it's the top 10 list. So our honorable mentions for our top 10.
I think you have 3.
I have 4.
You have 4. Okay, well,
I can go over one later. So I can start off with 3 and then come back to mine.
I have one that I have one that I'll add to mine that I thought about.
Want to just do 4?
Let's just do the 4. Yeah, why not? Who cares?
Okay, I'll go first, and this is painful putting him here, but I have an honorable mention of Cam Jordan, and I'm really hoping that he has his bounce back season. Hopefully that lack of production last year was more due to that ankle injury that was nagging him all year, and not just getting older.
I'll go ahead and say for my 4th player, I'll add him too. It's hard to take him off.
Yeah, no,
but I'll add him as well. I have on my honorable mentions Taysom Hill for my first honorable mention. It may change with the way Kubiak uses him, but if we use him the same way as we did last year, he's an honorable mention. He'll get you a big play. He'll get you something that makes the crowd excited, gets some hype. But he wasn't utilized properly last year, and for that, he's only on my honorable mention.
My next honorable mention is Pete Warner, who has shown a lot of promise, since he's been a Saint. Last year, I feel like he didn't quite put it all together, but still looked like a solid, I guess, linebacker too.
All right. Well, I like that pick. I don't have him on my list, but I do have. He's a rookie, so I didn't put him on my top 10, but I think he will be on our top 10 next year. I think he will be our best lineman at the end of the year, and that's our boy, Talise Fuaga. Fuaga is going to be a monster. Every single thing that I've seen. And congratulations to our boy, just signed his contract.
Yeah, today.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the little video with him meeting Derek Carr?
Yeah, they had a nice dude. I don't know if you they had it was a nice dab. It was a nice dab. They already got that connection, a nice connection. I'm excited. So what about you? You got another?
So for my next honorable mention, and it hurt not putting him in the top 10 because he was a rookie last year, and he shined every opportunity he got, whether it was stopping the run or rushing the passer, but they just had him so much as a rotational player, and I'm excited to see him get more involved in the defense, and that is Bryan Bresee.
He's on my honorable mention as well.
He's number 11
so
for me.
tough. I wanted to put him on there, but
I just out of respect for my other top 10, you haven't seen enough from him, but everything we've seen has just got me so excited.
So let's go ahead and get into our top 10 list. I'll go ahead and start with my number 10. And this guy is a guy that I originally had an honorable mention, but then I went back and I remembered making that hype video, seeing all of his highlights. The dude got into the backfield a ton, stopped the run, got sacks, is our leading sack leader on the team. And that's Carl Granderson, a guy that we brought in as an undrafted free agent and really developed into the best, edge on our team. I remember in 2022, I remember watching him towards the end of the year, and every time he was on the field, we got really excited. And this is kind of what I'm hoping Bresee does, because he was kind of on the field a little bit, and then they were like, all right, you've earned this, take off, and he did. So between him and Bryan Bresee, I think they're going to help the D-line out. Yeah. But go ahead and let me know about your number 10.
My number 10 is not quite all projection, but I just kind of put him here just because of his talent, his utility, his usefulness, and that's Taysom Hill.
Okay.
I mean, he's probably our best power runner on the team.
Yeah.
He can play special teams. He can catch the ball.
Block punts. All that stuff. Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Clint Kubiak uses him well. And if Clint Kubiak uses him well, I mean, he could be one of the better players, not just on our team, but in the league. I
don't think his lack of productivity last year was necessarily a Taysom issue. I think it was a Pete Carmichael issue. I'll go ahead and let you start your number 9 then.
Okay. Well, number 9, since you already talked about him, is Carl Granderson. And, I mean, it was hard. I was between him and putting Chase Young here. Chase Young was my honorable mention. But having Chase Young coming off of an injury, I know he played through it last year, still got, 7.5 sacks?
Yeah.
Had a sack in the Super Bowl. What was he, the second pick in the draft a few years back?
Yeah, the second overall.
So he has such a tremendous upside and potential. But from what I've seen last year, I had to put Granderson here.
Cam has kind of had an underwhelming year.
I think all three of those guys
they can all
split
produce.
snaps. They all have 50 to 70% of the snaps next year.
I like that. I like that pick, and I like that honorable mention. My number 9, and this is a fingers crossed, right? I think there's been a lot of doomers. You know what a doomer is. In the Saints community. I think a lot of criticism is warranted in certain things, but all of the stuff that I've seen on the internet of people just targeting this guy, and he really
to go quarterback here.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, my guy Derek Carr. Look, Derek Carr. As much as you would have thought by the stuff you've read about him, you would have thought he came into this locker room and pulled an Aaron Rodgers and just saying, "I want this to happen. I want this to happen. I want this to happen." No, I mean the dude came in. He's been a positive guy. And ever since that kind of that argument with Eric McCoy, they kind of all locked in, and that's okay to have that competition. We've played football together plenty of times, and we may have gotten heated at certain points.
Oh yeah.
But it's all competition, It's all part of that competitiveness, and I think with Derek Carr and the Kubiak offense, and again this is all a projection, I think Derek Carr is going to have a pretty good year, especially if he can finish off the way he started.
And for everything to work, the whole team relies on him. So you
so
gotta have, if you don't have this projection, Derek Carr, you're not projecting him to play well, then that means that Clint Kubiak doesn't work out. Dennis Allen's gone. All these veterans are.
And who knows those injuries he had at the beginning of the year, they could have been more serious than we thought.
And think about it, Saints fans would have a completely different view of him. He didn't get that shoulder injury. We win Green Bay. We
would have won in Green Bay. We were cooking in Green Bay.
Honestly, I think we would have played Philly, and they had no momentum going into that offseason.
So I'm going to go ahead and start in on my number 8, and that is number 32, Tyrann Mathieu. I think he's been a leader on the team since he came on, and a lot of my guys are big leaders. But Tyrann has been really good. He's able to help command that offense, and with, as good as our secondary is going to be, he's going to definitely have to be that cornerstone that's going to help lead the team. And everything I've seen from him these last, he started off, and it's always the way we've been rolling when it comes to we sign these guys. Those first 4 or 5 games, they're not great.
Bradley Roby, Malcolm Jenkins, they all had an adjustment period.
And then they come in and they're just, all of a sudden, it's like a switch is flipped. They learn it and they're just insane. Tyrann, I think probably since then, he's probably been our leader in interceptions, I would imagine. I don't want to quote me on that. It could be Paulson. Paulson's had a bunch of interceptions. But Tyrann, since he's come along, has, made turnovers, made plays. He's missed some tackles, but the dude, and he commands that defense.
Tackles were mostly his first year, his first 5 or 6 games.
So what you got at number 8?
Number 8, I know you're probably going to think this is extremely low.
Okay.
But I have Rashid Shaheed.
Rashid Shaheed?
At 8. Obviously, he took a big step last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's as fast as it gets in the NFL, other than Tyreek Hill and Rashee Rice on the highway. He had over 700 yards, 5 touchdowns. And I believe he was the only Saint last year that was all pro. I know it was a kick returner, but with the, kick returning, the new kick return, it should have more chances to play.
I agree. And he's on my list as well, so I'll kind of go over some of my thoughts on it when I get to that point.
Okay. Also, the thing is, college, he returned a lot of balls, played receiver a little bit. His route tree, if you've actually been paying attention, his route tree has grown a little bit.
Yeah,
and he's actually like a true wide receiver too, whereas in his rookie year, he was kind of just more of a gimmicky type thing. He had certain roles that he'd come in and play. Now he's on the field every down, and he's awesome.
So that was your number 8?
Yep.
I'll let you lead us into number 7.
All right, number 7, I've got right now our anchor and leader on our offensive line, and this year, this pick come next year maybe Fuaga, but for now I have Eric McCoy.
I do as well.
Who's coming off of a Pro Bowl season? I know it was at time the line was pretty rocky last year, but he was pretty steady for us. I'm excited to see what he's got in store, and hopefully he can keep this line together.
He's kind of like Carl Granderson. He's quiet.
Yeah.
But I would say
he finally got some recognition, though.
Yeah, I would say over the last since he's been drafted, he's been probably one of the better centers in the league. Consistent. For the most part, healthy. I don't think he's missed too many games.
Not this year, but the year before, he missed quite a few games.
But overall, he is a leader. He's definitely our longest. I guess Ramczyk, but I'm just not considering.
Yeah, we're
Ramczyk's
leaving
retired.
Ramczyk off this list.
Or in our minds, Ramczyk is retired. But McCoy, he's our longest tenured lineman as far as I'm concerned, at least starter. And
R.I.P. Andrews Pete, Oakland Raider, or Las Vegas Raider.
Las Vegas,
We're getting
But McCoy is a
politically correct.
He's a guy that I think is he's a guy that's it's a luxury to have because he's a quality starting O lineman. He doesn't get he's not paid too much, and he's a leader on the team. So it's good to have him.
And he's vocal. Like that argument with Derek Carr, I was glad that somebody was saying something.
Yeah, and like I said, they went and talked about that with Carr, and McCoy addressed it. And he's like, "Man, I love Derek.
Yeah,
it's a part of the competition.
Yep.
So, moving on, we got at number 6. I'll go ahead and start us off, and this was you've already said him, but it's Rashid Shaheed. I agree with you. I think he's already a fantastic wide receiver in our passing game, but with this new system with the kick returns, I think he's going to be insane. I think I've watched the UFL and the USFL and the XFL when it was all up, but I'll say this. The kick returns, it could be because of, less talent, less, practice and all that, just because it's, some of these guys, in the UFL, But, dude, the guys that can kick return, who do good kick returns in the UFL, it's not like we're starting the ball on the 35 every time. They're starting the ball on like the 40 or the opposing team's 40. Like if Rashid Shaheed, who already is fantastic, when he gets in there and he learns this new kick return, especially when it's kind of new and the opposing teams are learning it and every team is learning it, there's going to be a lot of hiccups in terms of blocking or tackling and all that. I think Rashid Shaheed is going to cook in the return game. So that's why I have him at number 6, other than obviously he's this fastest guy on the team and a fantastic wide receiver. All right. What do you got at 6?
Number 6, I have Paulson Adebo. I think Paulson Adebo has the tools and the talent to be a Pro Bowl corner in the NFL.
I think he deserved. I think he was a Pro Bowl last year.
Yeah, he had 4 picks and 18 pass deflections, and just didn't get the recognition he deserved from the NFL.
Not at all.
He was, I think, 3rd in pass deflections, and
I'd say he.
If you were targeting him, you were not completing the ball.
100%. He was the best corner on the team last year.
Oh yeah.
Lattimore was injured, but Paulson stepped up, and he stepped up at right the time. I hope. I have another guy on this list that I hope he's on the team, and if he is, he's on the list for a reason.
Yeah, got him at 3.
But Paulson Adebo is a fantastic pick, and I'll go ahead and start us off at 5 because mine is also Paulson Adebo at number 5.
Okay.
But I think Paulson, he's in his contract year. I hope he gets paid because I love him to death. He's got style. He's got all the stuff you want from a corner. And, he was just insane last year. Like I said, I know I keep referencing to that hype video, which, if you haven't checked it out yet, go watch it. It was awesome. But, dude, he's just insane. His video is just, play after play, pick after pick, punching out balls, getting interceptions, and pass deflections, too. You don't usually see that as a look at this highlight of a pass deflection. No, you don't get the interceptions but dude was a living highlight reel last year, and that's why I have him at 5. Who do you have at 5?
At 5, I have somebody a little bit older, somebody some people might be scared that the age catches up to him, but I am not going to be the one who predicts people's fall offs, because I've seen quarterbacks playing to their 40s. I've seen, running backs playing to their mid 30s.
Well, this guy pays a lot of money. Him and Tyrann both spend a lot of money.
Tyrann, man.
You have Tyrann here. Okay.
And I
like that.
I could see him being number 1 next year. He should have the freedom to do whatever he is best at this year. Because with Alante, Paulson,
Howden, all that.
Lattimore,
I mean, we could even
Kool-Aid. He can do whatever he's best at.
Realistically, we could just run 4 corners, man defense the whole time, and just have Tyrann.
Because he's somebody who can play free safety, strong safety, in the nickel. He can
do anything. He can do it all.
There's no reason that he should be targeted at all to begin with.
He's going to get the ball.
Excited.
I'm going to take it away.
I'm excited to see him next year.
I like that, and I think he's going to pair well with my number 4.
Okay.
Marshawn Lattimore. If he's on the team, I'm assuming he's on the team. Between Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, Alante, and Kool-Aid. I mean, Tyrann's. Yeah. I'm still talking about Tyrann here. Tyrann's just gonna be in the back just watching.
Yeah. I'm hoping everybody stays healthy.
Since we were already talking secondary, I'll go ahead and put my last secondary person up there, and that was Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah.
When Marshawn's on the field, he's the best corner on the team, one of the best corners in the NFL. So I won't talk too much more. We'll continue talking about him after you tell me what your other 4 is.
I have Alvin Kamara at number 4.
Okay.
So this offense, since he's been here, Mike's been great, but this offense has ran through him, whether it's receiving out of the backfield, running. My thing is
another leader.
I'm hoping, and it's a little bit of a projection, but I'm hoping Clint Kubiak gets the most out of him and just revitalizes his career. Because last year, more than even the 2 years before, I actually saw glimpses of what I used to see from Kamara. Even though, yards per attempt were down.
Yeah.
Catches were down at times. He's going to be special. He would have had his first 1,000-yard rushing season, but he was suspended 3 games last year.
He was great.
Right around 900 yards.
He was great with Pete Carmichael's lousy play calling. So you got to think with a Kubiak guy. And I know it's all speculation.
Look what they got out of Christian McCaffrey. And there were times when the debate was Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey, who's the best in the NFL.
Alvin Kamara is my number 3.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and continue on the conversation with you there. But AK. I'm just saying, man, he's going to cook, and he has to. But he's also kind of on the hot seat because Kendra Miller is right behind him.
Oh, dude, Kendra's going to be good.
And Kendra could easily have been that honorable mention if he stayed healthy last year, but he didn't. But I love AK, and that's why I got him at number 3. And have we already talked about your number 3?
My number 3 is Marshawn Lattimore.
I am.
And, people say, because he's from the 2017 draft class that he's old, but, he's right now. As we're filming this video, he's 27. But the dude is the baller. He's a baller, and he's easily the best cornerback we've had in Saints history. Like, say what you want about Tracy Porter and
he's
Jabari Greener.
He's awesome.
Jabari Greer. What a pull. Mike McKenzie.
Yeah.
All these great guys. Sammy Knight.
He's easily number 1.
I'm taking Marshawn Lattimore every day.
He's awesome.
And I'm not going to disrespect him like that. He deserves. If I knew he was going to play for us next year every snap, he'd be number 1.
So hopefully he continues on the team, and it sounds like we're going to have a pretty common number 1 and number 2. I'll let you start off on your number 2 though.
So number 2, I'm putting Chris Olave.
Okay.
Right. Obviously, just tremendously talented, gifted receiver, smart, great route runner, fast guy. Chris Olave, can't say anything better about him. Love him.
I agree, and I'll kind of get to him later on because Demario Davis is my number 2.
That's your number 2.
Demario Davis, I'm gonna factor in a hint of being, getting a little older, but I'm not gonna factor it in a lot because he's number 2.
Yeah.
I think Demario Davis is the best defensive player on our team, one of the best in the NFL. He's, I was talking about him earlier. I thought you were about to put him at number 4, but you had Tyrann higher than I did, and I'm happy about that. Yeah. I didn't know if you were. In the past, you slept on Tyrann, so you know
it was like 4 or 5 games.
I was
his first 4 or 5 games.
I wasn't crazy. Give him some time. We talked about the Jenkins comparison, Malcolm Jenkins comparison, but DeMario is that guy who's been defying Father Time, and
better than anyone.
He's our Drew Brees on the defense right now in terms of he's the second best free agent signing.
I wish we would have had him on our team earlier. Like,
oh yeah, dude, I was thinking about that yesterday.
Drafted him.
If we would have drafted DeMario, and it's about the journey.
It's about the journey,
and he learned things along the way.
He had to be a Brown and a Jet before he came.
Poor guy. But man, I love DeMario Davis. He's my favorite player on the team. He really is.
Yeah.
And I think he like I said, he's not only one of the best. I think he's behind Drew. He's probably our best free agent signing in recent history. I couldn't tell you about the entire history of the Saints. We're more of 2000s plus guys.
Yeah, we're not going to be talking about like Morton Anderson on the show or anything like that.
But DeMario Davis has become the leader of the team. He's so solid. He doesn't ever really miss a tackle. He's not He's usually not a liability. He's just if he's around the ball.
What I have to say is the dude deserves more recognition.
100%.
The amount of times he's been snubbed from the Pro Bowl or, not been held in conversations with guys like Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest Saints of all time already, I believe, in just his few years he's been here.
He should have had a Super Bowl ring as well with the Saints.
Top 5 linebacker in the league every year he's been a Saint, in my opinion.
There's a lot of guys on this list that if we would have won in 2018, they'd be held at such a higher standard because, I watched them play in the Super Bowl. But, that was taken from us. And, but guys like DeMario, guys like Cam Jordan, guys like Alvin Kamara, guys like Michael Thomas, they should all have Super Bowl rings. And they'd all be, praised like, these Bobby Wagners and these guys like that. But unfortunately, that just didn't happen. And he doesn't get the respect he deserves. But still, DeMario Davis, he's
my number one.
He's all right. Well, go ahead. Talk about. You have any more to talk about him?
No, it was hard not to put Stanley Morgan here, but
what do you got against Stanley Morgan Jr., dude? He's just a special teams player. He's watching the show right now.
No, I hope he makes a team.
You're just saying that because he's watching the show.
Yeah, I'm saying that because he's watching the show. DeMario just holds a special spot in my heart, and he's talented. He's been the best player on our defense, and the defense has been the strength of the team since Breeze has left. Even the last year Breeze was here, it's been DeMario.
He's just awesome. I not only is just a player, but a person. He's like one of my personal role models. I just want to I want to live my life like DeMario. Dude's just Christian dude. Very spiritual, family guy. He a leader in anything he does. Community guy. He's from Mississippi. That's where we're from.
Brandon, Mississippi.
Well, not Brandon, but.
Yeah, well, no,
he's from Brandon. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Gardner Minshew.
But I love DeMario, and he deserves to be in that top 2.
Oh, 100%.
I agree. But I don't think he's number 1 though, because my number 1 is Chris Olave. Chris Olave is my number 1 because, as we talked about, the projections with Kubiak, all of that, he's only gotten better and better throughout the years, Oh, yeah. And I just going back and again, I don't know if I've been bringing it up, but dude he really is. Every catch from him could be a highlight. Just making these insane catches.
He does.
And he's got everything you want. He's smooth. He's smooth like butter, man.
Oh, yeah.
You just go right past you, and hopefully they scheme him up this way, but he'll make the catch. He'll outrun you. It's just Chris Olave is the guy we need to build our team around. He's young. He's extremely talented, and he's the future of this team. He's the next Alvin Kamara in terms of that just insanely good offensive player. And I think if Derek Carr can utilize him properly.
I'm also really excited to see him with the new offensive coaching staff.
It's going to be. Like I said, I'm not a doomer. I'm an optimist when it comes to the Saints.
There's no reason not to be optimistic about Chris Olave.
He's awesome, and I think we kind of talk about it. Garrett Wilson's also in this conversation. You know, he played awesome with Jameis and Carr,
Dalton.
but Andy Dalton. And that was last year.
That was it.
That was his first year. Andy Dalton and Jameis. Him and Carr kind of connected, but he did all of that with 3 different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And
so he's just now getting on the same page with people. Imagine his rookie year playing with Jameis if Jameis would have hit him in those that Panthers game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he already had 157 yards, I think, in that Panthers game, and probably had 3 misses on 50-yard catches.
That was that and the Buccaneers game. Yeah, that was just it was.
Yeah.
He there's definitely some yards left out there, but that's why number 1 is Chris Olave, and I'll let you go ahead and talk about your number 1. I know we've kind of already discussed him.
it was DeMario.
So I know that's what DeMario Davis. So that was so you have anything else to say about it?
No,
I think we covered him pretty well.
Best.
So I think
as far as Saints go,
But number 1 and number 2, I think we were pretty. I mean, I think our lists were pretty similar there towards the end stretch. You were I think this guy.
You didn't have Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
And
I added Carr.
I think the other 9 were all the same, but in different order.
Different order. Yep.
Wow.
I thought
it rolled smoothly, so that we were able to.
Yeah, I know it transitions to the next guy. So, let's go ahead and go over our comeback player of the year.
My comeback player of the year. Even he played a lot of games last year, but I'm gonna go with Alvin because he played good last year, but I'm ready to see that explosive Alvin again, catching balls out the backfield, outrunning people, running outside instead of inside, and this is a projection thinking that Clint Kubiak's gonna get the best out of him because nobody's gotten the best out of him since Sean Payton has been around.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a fantastic pick for comeback player of the year. I think with the season he had last year with the O-line, again, the O-line didn't get much.
It'll help too that he doesn't. It feels like the last few years, even though Olave's performed well, that he has carried the weight of the offense on his shoulders. Alvin has. And
I think that's a fantastic pick. I don't think there's anywhere he can go but up with everything that's going. He's going to have 3 more games. He's going to have a new offensive coordinator. He's going to have Carr kind of leaning more on him. O-line better.
Even having less touches because Kendra gets more is actually going to be better for him too.
So
he's going to be more explosive.
My comeback player of the year is going to be Juwan Johnson, a guy that was extremely hyped in the preseason and the training camp. But Juwan Johnson, I think he's going to have a great season this year. And I hope that's the case. But with tight ends, you got to think about tight ends on the 49ers. Hopefully I don't think he's going to be Kittle, obviously.
No.
But I think there's just so much potential for him. And it's comeback player of the year. I think all he has to do is play like he did those last couple games, and he's easily comeback player of the year for the Saints.
I think that adding Clint Kubiak, and I hope it's possible Clint Kubiak doesn't even work out. Yeah. But I think he boosts that tight end position. He boosts that running back position.
Clint, if you're watching, we got high hopes for you, buddy.
We've been glazing you since you've
we got high hopes for you. Dude. We'll revisit this later on after the season, and we'll kind of see, I would have added this player now, or, I would have moved this player up, moved this player down, or he wouldn't even be in my list.
Yep.
But we'll come back and revisit that and see if we were right or wrong. Obviously all this is speculation, prediction. Yep. So, and if you want to go ahead and put your list down there, who you think the top 10 is going to be.
Yeah, we want to know y'all's top 10s, y'all's comeback players.
I know it's long to type all that out. At least let us know who your MVP of the team is going to be this year.
Or let us know what you'd put on there differently.
Yeah, agree. It just, we really enjoy responding to your comments. So, get you involved. Try to let us know who you think's going to be. And you're going to want to stick around for next week, because next week we're going to go after the predicting the schedule.
Yeah.
So stick around and subscribe so you can be a part of that that episode next week. But other than that, guys, you have anything else, Alex?
No, that's pretty much it.
Thanks
for coming and watching us rant for a few hours.
Of course.
Not a few hours, but
oh my goodness! I was going to say, I hope I didn't read the time wrong on it. But guys, this has been Talking Saints. We'll see you next week.